Are you scared of the numbers? By numbers, I'm talking about accounts, finance. Ah! To you, is that like watching a horror movie? If someone says to you, let's sit down and go over the accounts, how does that make you feel? Do you think, yes, that's something we ought to do? Or do you think, really, don't I pay you to do that? Bad news is, as a business owner, you need to know. Oof, sorry. Now, I'm not talking about you actually doing accounts. Please don't. First, just a small story. Years ago, my start on the road to proper outsourcing was I was watching a speech from a fantastic guy called Brad Fallon, and he just used this one line. He said, "Stop playing at QuickBooks." I thought to myself, wow, I've just figured out how to do QuickBooks in my business. It made sense. Obviously, there's the rest of the speech with it. Instantly resonated with me. As soon as I got back, I got someone to do my QuickBooks. That lovely lady, Debbie, is still working for me doing stuff to this day. So, you need to understand the numbers. Now, you don't need to understand everything, but you really do need to have a handle on it. Firstly, you need to know financial results, some kind of financial position, preferably at the end of every single month. If you wait to the year end and then you give all your books to the accountant, bookkeeper, whoever, then you wait a few months and you get them back and then you see a draft. By the time you get them back and they're ready, maybe 4, 5, 6 months after, you're looking at the accounts for a period that started nearly 18 months ago and finished nearly 6 months ago. Not really going to tell you much, is it? The accounts are a tool for business. Once I learned that, my business, my previous one, Triangle Fire Protection, went from strength to strength. It sounds really, really odd, but we brought in an additional accountant, paid him about $400 a month to put our figures together so that we had accurate financial accounts by the 7th of the month following. So January accounts were ready on the 7th of February. This taught us all sorts of things, and we looked at some key ratios, and we could then track where we were, what we had to allocate, what was doing well, what wasn't doing so well. So the good things that were doing well, we could do more of that. The things that weren't doing well, we could stop that right now instead of finding out a few months later. And certain ratios, if they went out of between a couple of figures, we knew that we had to do something about it and look into it. Also, when it came to price rises, we didn't just have income. We knew income of certain types of income. And so some parts of it were more profitable. If we needed a price rise, we could increase those parts, and other bits that were more price sensitive by a smaller amount, some parts by a higher amount, not just a block price rise across the board. And we could know instantly how that would affect the bottom line. And then what we could invest that in, marketing. Perhaps we were going to do some extra advertising. Back in those days, we had to use yellow pages. But so the numbers are important. The numbers are not something to be scared of. So talk to your bookkeeper, talk to your accountant, and ask them, is there something that they could give, some monthly summary, something simple that gives you an accurate position of a couple of the numbers that will make sense to you? You want to have a monthly track of cash, your cash position, your net cash position, because that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter whether you're overdrawn or whether you're in the black. You can be overdrawn if you have an overdraft and you're using it as a tool. But if this is recorded on a spreadsheet and you look at it month by month, you can see the pattern going up or you can see the pattern going down. But you want to know that now, not in a year's time. You want to know what your product, what the costs are as a percentage of the sales. Things you want to know what your fixed overheads are. Do they vary every month? There are some key numbers like that. If you can get a handle on these, you can keep your finances under control, and then you can decide how much money you can spend on marketing. And remember, if you don't market, you don't have any customers. If you don't have any customers, you don't need any accounts. You might as well go home. This was a big realization for me and has been crucial to any success I've ever had. Trust me, try it. Monday, I want to get you reading. This week, this is a book that also changed the way I look at my business. This book has become a worldwide movement with meetups and groups all over the world. It's called The Lean Startup, and it's by a gentleman called Eric Ries. It's based, in effect, on Toyota's TPS, Toyota Production System, which is one of the reasons why, or the reason why Toyota is the leading car producer in the world and overtook all the American producers. What it, in effect, teaches you is that you don't have to wait till everything is just so. You don't have to procrastinate to launch your product, your service, your whatever. You don't have to get it all right. You can get it good enough, minimal viable product, launch it, and then act on the feedback for your customers very quickly and often, and continuously iterate until that product is perfect. But don't get it perfect in the way that you think it to be perfect, because quite often when you launch your product or service, you'll find that your customers don't like a certain aspect. They prefer an aspect you didn't notice, and you'll work on that, and you'll give them the product they want instead of trying to force upon them the product that you want them to have that they may not want. This was crucial. Have I used crucial twice now? That's how important it was. But seriously, the Lean Startup, fabulous. Really, really good. And Eric Ries, well-known speaker, and has been trotting all over the world because this is popular. This really is a movement. Google it. You'll find lots of information about it. But read the book. You'll get it. You don't have to be a software company. We're not. It worked for us. It will work for you. There'll be something in it that will click for you. Trust me. Is that two trust me's as well? Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow.